It's so funny because I almost feel like discovering this space on YouTube and like starting my own little content creation journey, although it's faceless, was possibly preparation for this exact moment that I'm currently living in. I found this content. I found Exotical. I'm so sorry. Excuse me. It's been a long day. I found Exoticals United's content in the summer or just before summer. And at that time, I had started this position, but the dynamics of the office place are very different now than from when I started this new role. And when I really think about some of the content that I've consumed over these past months, but for my own desire to continue to believe that good girls finish first, or just this belief that good girls win in the end, or even the concept of what a good girl is. I am deeply rooted in, as I've said before, like my Christian identity. And a part of, I'm so sorry, this is so tacky. I apologize. Next time I'm gonna get it together. But a part of my Christian identity that influences how I navigate the world is it does create a lot of room to be mistreated. And wanted to I never wanted to really focus on that aspect. If you are a Christian, then you know that Jesus was mistreated, killed even. So it's not at all out of the ordinary for people who claim to be Christians to expect to have to not be received well by people in the world. That's not a foreign concept to me, but for whatever reason, my life experiences have shaped me into a person that doesn't think about all of the great things or all of the good things or all of the positive things. You're taught as a Christian to think so as to have a soundness of mind, so that you don't feel superior to anyone or inferior to anyone. And there's like a recipe for success as a Christian. You are supposed to be heavily rooted in God's word. And when I am heavily rooted in God's word, I don't feel the same sense of upset or the same sense of sadness. It's not anger, it's disappointment or grief or shock. I don't know. Like, I don't feel it as intensely when I'm really, really on a spiritual high. When I'm on a spiritual high and I feel very connected to God, I don't see as many, I'm not as impacted by negativity. And ironically, I'm not at a spiritual low to feel so heavily impacted by this work situation. But it's definitely causing me to really turn the other cheek. It's causing me to really just not, I'm not meeting people with the type of venom they deserve. I have erected strong boundaries in the office place. I have strong boundaries that aren't often crossed, but it's just really exhausting being in a space where you aren't liked and it's not for a specific reason that is valid, and you can't be the girl who matches energy. You can't be the girl who's tit for tat. You can't be a you go low, I go to hell type of person and also maintain like your Christian integrity. It's difficult. It's difficult being a Christian in an environment that makes it such that your humility is met with just evilness. That's really the bottom line. I feel like there is a level, I'm not saying that people who have low self esteem are evil, but I do feel like people who have low self esteem also have very low ethical standards for what they will and won't do. I think the lower the self esteem, like they're capable of anything because they already don't really like themselves. So why would they not refrain from something that might bring them instant gratification just because it's wrong morally or ethically or shows a lack of integrity? So I really don't have any answers because I haven't experienced it to this extent in quite some time. And I've not experienced it to this extent in a job that I didn't want to necessarily leave, because I'll quit a job. But this job is just it's such a nice job. It's a really, I really like my employer, and it's not as easy as it has been in the past to just up and leave. The vibes are off. I'm gone. Somebody asked me, "How was work?" And this is no disrespect for the good girls and the respectable girls and the girls who love themselves and are kind to others at call centers, but it's giving call center vibes. And I'm in a corporate setting. It just goes to show you it does not matter the setting if the vibration is low. If a person's they can vibrate low in any space, which is not a big shocker. But yeah, I'm gonna have to create some affirmations around this role, because it's you just never know what to expect from women who hate themselves. You really just don't. You just don't know what to expect from women who don't have any self-esteem whatsoever. They are literally capable of anything. It's the best of times. It's the worst of times. What about you? How are you doing? Are you navigating a difficult work environment right now? What have you done in the past other than quit your job? If you're a Christian, I also would like to know. Drop me an emoji in the comment section, because I don't really know like what my demographic is. I know that this space, a lot of times what I find though about girls in this space, women in this space who make content about like um being villains or being female dogs or being willing to be those things, when you listen to their actual content, their version of being a villain or being a female dog is really just standing up for yourself. It really, I be waiting for like the darkness to come out, and it just like it don't be coming out. It really just it's the tips and the perspective. It's never evil. It's literally almost like offensively like this is what you need to do to be a pretty girl or have certain traits that are perceived positively by the opposite sex in environments that are typically full of women who are male centered. And I'm very verbose when it comes to this pretty privileged conversation because again, it's the concept of pretty privilege it's in conflict with my self concept as a Christian. Pretty privilege and my Christian identity conflict. And as I ignore, I don't feed into pretty privilege because it could be so fleeting, We're gonna get older. Not that we not gonna still be fine, but like I just I don't revolve my life around it in a way that it is at the forefront of my mind. But then when I'm in situations where, like, I'm getting positive affirmation, when you do take time to put yourself together, you do get compliments on a regular basis. It's the reward for taking time with yourself. It's the reward for having positive energy and being willing to smile. Like, you do get compliments. And so even though that's true, like if it's not at the if it's not at the forefront of your mind, or if it's not the goal per se, you walk into a space having put yourself together the way you like yourself to be put together, but you're there as you to do the work or for the whatever the purpose is, and you're not thinking about beauty. You're just not thinking about it. And it's just like, but what else could it be? Like, what else could you be? I mean, there's some other things you could be mad about, but not sight unseen. And I heard it doesn't get better with age. I've talked to women in their 40s, 50s, 60s, and one even nearing 70. And she said it doesn't get better with age. It's crazy. It's crazy. But I guess it would be worse to be invisible. It would be worse. Like I guess I'd rather experience workplace bullying than to feel invisible. Or, well, wait a minute. Let me back it up. I don't know about that part. Unless invisible means there are no perks. Like, if you're invisible, you're not going to necessarily get any perks. Like the free things. But I don't know. I really don't. I don't. What I do know is that for whatever the cost of superficial attractiveness is, like for whatever the cost is, I know that it's not something that I would want to trade in for a lesser physical form, or a perceived lesser physical form, or I don't know. It's just very complicated. I need to mentor women who, or girls or young women who are doing things that I've already conquered, already done well, because I need to stop being so self-centered. I can't keep focusing on myself. I can't. And I'm sorry, like if you are listening, if you made it this far and there's anything specific that you would like for me to talk about, or anything that you're interested in that you would just want to, I guess, me to make a video about, feel free to drop it in the comments. I don't know where the direction of, because like at this point I'm just telling you about my life, what's happening in real time. And if you are listening to this and there is something you would want to hear my perspective about, and you leave it in the comments, I definitely will make that video for you, because there's nothing I really want to make a video about. Like I'm only here sharing this because it's just so on brand for for this space. As a golden brown girl, it's crazy because I would have never called myself an exotical, but these experience, the fact that it's broad enough to encompass golden brown monoracial girls is really, it's really a positive thing, because where else, like there isn't another space for us to talk about these things. And yeah, I hate that we have to talk about these things. I hate that we have to go through these things. Like, why can't we just all like exist and have good self-esteem? Okay, I'm just rambling. So thank you for listening.